Hello, Mark. I'm Emma. My number is 18. I'm a sophomore. Today's topic is what makes a word real. I need to start by telling you a little bit about my social life, which I know may not seem relevant, but it is. When people meet me at parties and they find out that I'm an English professor who specializes in language, they generally have one of two reactions. One set of people look frightened. They often say something like, "Oh, I'd better be careful what I say. I'm sure you'll hear every mistake I make." And then they stop talking. And they wait for me to go away and talk to someone else. The other set of people, their eyes light up and they say, "You are just the person I want to talk to." And they tell me whatever it is and they think is going wrong with the English language. A couple of weeks ago, I was at a dinner party and the man to my right started telling me about all the ways that the internet is degrading the English language. He brought up Facebook and he said, "Too different? I mean, is that even a real word?" I want to pause on that question. What makes a word real? My dinner companion and I both know what the verb different means. So when does a new word like different become real? Who has the authority to make those kinds of official decisions about words anyway? Those are the questions I want to talk about today. I think most people, when they say a word isn't real, what they mean is it doesn't appear in a standard dictionary. That, of course, raises a host of other questions, including who writes dictionaries. Before I go any further, let me clarify my role in all of this. I do not write dictionaries. I do, however, collect new words much the way dictionary editors do. And the great thing about being a historian of the English language is that I get to call this research. When I teach the history of the English language, I require the students teach me 2 new slang words before I will begin class. Over the years, I have learned some great new slang this way, including hangry, which is when you are cranky or angry because you are hungry, and adorable, which is when you are adorable in kind of dorky way. Clearly terrific words that fill important gaps in the English language. But how real are they if we use them primarily as slang and they don't yet appear in a dictionary? With that, let's turn to dictionaries. I'm going to do this as a show of hands. How many of you still regularly refer to a dictionary, either print or online? Okay, so that looks like most of you. Now a second question. Again, a show of hands. How many of you have ever looked to see who edited the dictionary you are using? Okay, many fewer. At some level, we know that there are human hands behind dictionaries, but we are really not sure who these hands belong to. I'm actually fascinated by this. Even the most critical people out there tend not to be very critical about dictionaries, not distinguishing among them and not asking a whole lot of questions about who edited them. Just think about the phrase, "look it up in the dictionary," which suggests that all dictionaries are exactly the same. Consider the library here on campus, where you go into a reading room and there is a large, abridged dictionary up on a pedestal. In this place of honor and respect lying open so we can go stand before it to get answers. Now, don't get me wrong, dictionaries are fantastic resources, but they are human and they are not timeless. I'm struck as a teacher that we tell students to critically question every text they read, every website they visit, except dictionaries, which we tend to treat as unauthored, as if they came from nowhere to give us answers but about what words really mean. Here's the thing, if you ask dictionary editors, what they'll tell you is that they're just trying to keep up with us as we change the language. They're watching what we say and what we write and trying to figure out what's going to stick and what's not going to stick. They have to gamble because they want to appear cutting edge and catch the word they are going to make it, such as low. But they don't want to appear faddish and include the words that aren't going to make it. And I think a word that they're watching right now is YOLO. You only live once. Now I get to hang out with dictionary editors, and you might be surprised by one of the places where we hang out. Every January, we go to the American Dialect Society annual meeting, where, among other things, we vote on the word of the year. There are about 200 or 300 people who come, some of the best known linguists in the United States. To give you a sense of the flavor of the meeting, it occurs right before happy hour. Anyone who comes can vote. The most important rule is that you can vote with only one hand. In the past, some of the winners have been treated in 2009 and hashtag in 2012. Chat was the word of the year in the year 2000. Because who knew what the chat was before 2000 and WebMD in 2002? Now we have other categories in which we vote too. And my favorite category is most creative word of the year. Past winners in this category have included recombobulation area, which is at the Milwaukee Airport after security, where you can recombobulate. You can put your belt back on, put your computer back in your bag, and let my all-time favorite word at the vote, which is mutual slacking. And mutual slacking is the act of having multiple windows up on your screen so it looks like you are working when you are actually goofing around on the web. Will all of these words stick? Absolutely not. And we have made some questionable choices. For example, in 2006, when the word of the year was "protoid" to mean demoted, but some of the past winners now seem completely unremarkable, such as app and e as a prefix and Google as a verb. Now, a few weeks before our vote, Lake Superior State University issues its list of banished words for the year. What is striking about this is that there's actually often quite a lot of overlap between their list and the list they are considering for words of the year. And this is because we are noticing the same thing. We're noticing words that are coming into prominence. It's really a question of attitude. Are you bothered by language phase and language change? Or do you find it fun, interesting, something worthy of study as part of a living language?